Hi, welcome. All right, so today we're going to make stacking cauldrons with cool little, fake bubbles coming out. Now you may have seen this project done before. It's pretty viral right now, which is awesome. And I definitely saw that and was inspired to make my own. However, I'm going to put my own spin on this. And so it's going to be a little different. And I'm super excited about my idea. I think y'all will love it. So what you'll need to do this is you're gonna need some cauldrons to stack. Now I have this larger one. I actually have 3 of these and I got them from Michael's, but I will link in the description box below to where you can get something similar. I'll give you a few options. And so I have 3 of these. And then I have 2 of these smaller ones. Now one of them is gonna go at the top of the stack. The other is where the kind of fun special twist at the end is gonna come in. So definitely stay tuned. I don't need this now, so I'm just gonna set it aside, but just know that you might want 2 smaller ones if you wanna recreate this project. Kind of the fun thing about this is you can really customize it to fit whatever space or height you have. You can go really tall, you can stay kind of small, you can do a countertop version, you can do a front porch version. And so that's what I want to do. I want to make these to go on my front porch. And I was going to film it there. However, I'm in Dallas and it is, almost a third of the way through October and it is 91 degrees today. It's super hot. And so I'm here in my studio. So, forgive any bad lighting, but I could not. And so here we are. But I will of course show you how it looks on my porch later, we're gonna make it in here for today. So again, you'll just want some cauldrons to stack, so choose what works for you. And then you're also gonna need Christmas ornaments that are these like pretty iridescent color. I love these, I buy them every year for Christmas decorations. My daughter and I make a ton of stuff out of these, so fun to pull them out early for Halloween. And I got 2 sizes. So I've got the bigger size and smaller just for a little variation. And we'll just pull these little ornament pieces up. You can toss them. We're just gonna use these. Highly recommend you get plastic, not glass, especially, with like wind or being outside, kids, pets. I have all of the above, and so definitely went with plastic. I don't trust the shatterproof glass because I've shattered it before. And then in addition to that, you're going to want hot glue gun and some glue sticks. Definitely gonna use a lot of hot glue in this project, so kind of stock up on that. And because we're going to stack these cauldrons, we're not gonna wanna fill each one of them totally with these Christmas ornaments. It'd kind of be a waste. You're not gonna see a lot of this cauldron. So what we're gonna do is we're going to upcycle and recycle, and we're going to use just kind of whatever you have on hand to fill these with. So you could use old clothes, you could use plastic bags, you could use paper bags, you could use shredded cardboard. I'm gonna do like a little combo. So I've got kind of this kind of stuff that came in Amazon packages or boxes. And so we're going to use that to kind of stuff these and then fill the top where you actually see with those cute little bubbles. Other than the materials you're gonna use to kind of stuff these full, you're gonna have 2 options here. So one, you could use something that you can spray paint black to kind of keep it all consistent. You don't wanna see like colorful cardboard boxes, underneath these see-through little bubbles. Or you can do what I'm gonna do and grab, this is a Dollar Tree black tablecloth. You can use that to cover, which is what I'm gonna do. I may also layer in or use, if I need it, this like black Halloween creepy cloth, also from the Dollar Tree. And so we're just gonna kind of cheat the system here a little bit. So here we go. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is kind of put these in the stacking and see how you want them to look like. So you can know kind of how full each one will need to be. So for me, I'm gonna do my first one about like this. And so you're only really gonna see this little sliver of bubble. So I'm gonna stuff this bottom one pretty full. This one might be a little more like this. It's kind of gonna sit a little sideways. And so we're just gonna take it layer by layer, but just kind of have a little bit of an idea, especially for these first 2, how you want them to sit. And we're gonna go ahead and start stuffing. Okay, so for my bottom layer, I'm gonna use like some cardboard pieces that I ripped off from the box. So I'm just going to stuff them in there. ripping and layering so you can kind of get an idea of how that looks. And I just want to like pretty much fill this guy as close to the top as possible. And again, I'm not measuring, I'm just kind of ripping and then pushing down to compress it a little bit. So that looks pretty stuffed full to me, if you can see that. And so I'm going to dry fit that and just make sure that fits, and it does. And so now I'm going to cover this little stack of cardboard with that black. Now I'm going to cover this cardboard with this black tablecloth so you don't see all that brown. And I have used this for several projects, so it's kind of piecemeal together, but definitely enough here to cut. So we'll just cut some out, and it doesn't have to be, you know, the perfect size. So I can already tell that probably a little big. Let's see, actually we can just shove that in there. So just make sure you cover all that cardboard. So it looks like this now. So I want to make sure all of this cardboard, no brown showing, all black. I don't think you'll need to glue that in place, but if it's feeling kind of wonky, then you certainly can. And so this guy is going to sit right here. Now I do want to make sure I've got my little handles available if I want them to sit up later. But I just want to make sure this sits comfortably, so that's looking pretty good to me. And so I want it to be kind of slightly in like that. And so I'm going to go ahead and fill this gap right here between the two with those Christmas ornaments. So you're going to do them like opening down, so like this. Now this one, it's not really fitting down there, which is fine. And so we can actually start with a couple of the smaller ones. So I'm just going to glue those just like that. And just remember to pull off this little Christmas lid. We don't need that right now. So I'm just going to start laying them in. I'm not even going to glue those first two. I'm actually just going to sit them in there. Okay, those three all look really good. So now is where I've got three there on the bottom, and now I think I'm going to start gluing that right there like that. And so just kind of going to put a little dab of glue on this big one here and stick that right in there like so. That's it. So I'm using the ornament box that all these little ornaments came in to add to my second layer here. So waste not, want not. And again, you want to stack it pretty full. You don't want to burn through these ornaments and run out before you finish, especially if you're doing a taller stack like me. Now, if you have any that are kind of sticking out like this, break them down. Smaller is better than bigger here. And so we've got that. So let's see how that looks. Okay, and I'm definitely going to want to take this a little higher. Again, I just want this little sliver to be the only thing with bubbles. And so I'm going to raise this up with some more cardboard. And again, as long as you cover the top, the color of cardboard or whatever material you use doesn't really matter. I should probably mention that if this is going to be outside in the elements, cardboard definitely shrinks when wet and kind of gets gross, so maybe don't use that. This is going to be under my covered porch, so I feel fine about it, but you know your climate better than I do, so choose what makes sense for you. Okay, let's try that. Okay, that looks pretty good because I want this one to tip in a little. So if we look at the whole stack, actually gonna flip this. So we have the handle kind of in the back. And then this guy is gonna sit right here like so. Go ahead and cover this with that black tablecloth I have. Just going to grab that and just roll it underneath all that cardboard. What a fun way to recycle, right? Great, perfect. So we have that, and then we're going to go ahead and add, again, we're gonna dry fit this. So I want that to sit kind of like this. I could also do it like this. I'm actually gonna go like this in case I want to do something with these handles. There we go. I like this. And so I want it to be a little more cardboard on this side. I'm actually just gonna flip it around because I want the high spot of the cardboard to be wherever I'm gluing those ornaments, because I don't have thousands of ornaments and I don't need thousands. I have 50 of the small and I think 20 of the big, and we're gonna make it work, I hope. We'll see. So just cover that back up again, especially where you're gonna do the balls. Okay, and then, oh yeah, okay, I'm liking that. So we've got handle, and it's just kind of a fun angle. So I'm gonna go ahead and start gluing my little balls right here. Okay, so right here is where I'm gonna start adding those balls. Make sure you load up your hot glue gun so it's ready to go. And again, I'm just gonna start with dry fitting, pulling out these little plastic, the middle pieces. Now you can also decide that you have a front and a back. So for example, if this was my back, I wouldn't even bother putting stuff right here if I did have a space. I'm trying to use as little of these possible because I do have like a fun idea with them. And because this is slanting at an angle, I'm gonna go ahead and just start gluing them right to that tablecloth. The tablecloth does melt, so beware, but it's fine, no one's gonna see. And you're just kind of stacking them. When you can, you just wanna glue them to each other versus the tablecloth. So like there's one, for example. See if we can fit a big right here. So we can do one right here, but I'm gonna put a couple small ones first. Let's see, I'm guessing about 1, 2. So that one's glued. This one is not. So you can see I'm just kind of almost guessing and just looking at it, eyeballing it, seeing what I think will look best. You can always pop them apart if you hate it. It's not a big deal. And I also don't want them to be glued like perfectly straight. I want a little variation so it looks like real life bubbles. So don't be afraid to kind of pop some out a little bit further, while others are maybe a little more lower on the glue. So you can see how that one's kind of holding that one nicely. And then I want to do, I think, a small one here, and then perhaps a big one right there. That looks good. Okay, so I'm gonna do a small right here. So you get the idea. You just kind of eyeball it, go with your gut. It's just a craft. If it looks terrible, you can start over. You don't have to show anyone. It's just for fun. So don't stress out about it, just have fun. If you're doing this with little kids, make sure you do not let them use the hot glue gun. That's definitely a grown-up job. There we go, and I need one more right here, it looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna just do a little dollop here and a little one here. All right, there we go. And I think for dimension, I'm gonna add one last one right here. You can kind of see there's a little bit of a hole there, just like so. I can tell from the top angle at least. Just want it to really look like an overflowing, crazy cauldron. So, all right, there we go. So that's looking good. So here we have it. I've just kind of added and glued them to each other wherever I felt there was a little bit of a hole. So you can kind of see that they're just kind of sitting naturally. They just look like it's an overflowing cauldron, which is exactly what I want. I could add this one right here or here if I wanted. But I'm gonna conserve these because I only have so many left and I have, 2 more layers to do. And so I can always come back at the end and add any extras, but I really wanna focus on kind of the top part of the project the most. So we're just gonna keep going, layer 3 and layer 4. And I'll be back to show you how it looks. So this is my stopping point. It's beautiful, it's tall. I definitely have the front over here, so let me show you. And so now it's time to brave the heat, take this outside, and you're gonna see my super fun idea. Don't forget, we've got this extra cauldron that's gonna go somewhere. So grab this if you're following along with me and let's head outside. Hello. Okay, so I finally did it. I'm braving the heat out on the porch. It's dropped to like a balmy 88. So as you can see, I've got the cauldrons that I made earlier right there. I've got my extra cauldron that I told you all to hang on to. And so this is where we're gonna get really fun. I'm gonna make some of those super cute tomato cage ghosts, but of course, I'm going to put my own spin on it and make it spooky cute. And so one of our little ghosties is gonna be a little witch in training, and she will be holding this, pouring out some potion onto the stacked one here. So I'll show you how to do it, and if I can finish it all, we'll even see how it looks like at night. I've got about an hour or 2 of sunlight left. I'm hoping it doesn't take that long, but let's go. So for this project, you're gonna need some tomato cages. I have them in 3 different sizes. I literally pulled them out of my garden. My summer tomatoes were about dead, so repurposing again. Some white sheets for your ghosts. I bought new because I didn't have any old white sheets. And then you're going to need some head. You can do the classic styrofoam balls for the head, but those are expensive, you guys. So I'm gonna do something different. I've got these from the Dollar Tree. I've got about 5 of them. And I have something from my big ghost. I'm gonna use a bike helmet. It's super hot right now. We're not biking. I've got a 2-year-old to chase around. If I need it, I'll come grab it. But for now, I'm gonna use this for the head for the biggest guy. Like so. So use what you have. If you don't want to buy a styrofoam ball, don't buy it. You can use pumpkins, you can use these little cute little containers, which you'll see pop up when we accessorize. You can flip them upside down and use them as a head. You'll also want some zip ties to kind of hold this part together. And then you'll want some black felt for those spooky little eyes and the fun accessories. That's what I'm most excited about. So we'll do that last. But for now, we'll go ahead and get our ghosts kind of built out. If you want to have these lit up at night, you can also do fairy lights. That's the easiest way because they're battery powered. But you don't have to do lights. Just do what works for you. So we're gonna start by zip tying the tomato cage top together. You want it to be like a point. We're gonna do the same for the other 2. Now we're gonna cut those ends off. And we've got 3 little ghosts, kind of. Okay, so next is gonna be the heads. I'm gonna use these for the smaller heads. So you can see they're already kind of rounded. So when you open this up, it looks like this. I'm gonna flip this. It's kind of attached right here. So it's got this like weird, kind of goofy looking thing. So I'm just gonna gently pull this off the top of the head. And right here, you can see this little string. We're gonna cut that. Okay, and then this one here has got like little plastic pieces. You can see that? So I'm gonna cut that. Just like those little plastic like clothing tags kind of thing. Same for this one. Just gonna pull it out and cut. Okay, so this little piece is what we're gonna use for the head, but we're gonna pull these out and use them for the arms. So we need to separate this whole thing out. And I think it's just one long piece. So I'm gonna pull that out there and just pull, and I've got the whole thing. We may or may not need the little styrofoam, but this is probably gonna be like one arm instead of two. We'll see how it looks. But this is gonna be super helpful later. So hang on to this, hang on to this. So if you don't have this ghost, you can totally do the typical styrofoam ball or whatever else is round shape that you have. And for these, you can just get like basic wire hangers. This just came together in one convenient package. So we're going with this, but you can use what you have on hand. You can totally do this. Okay, so as you can see, I've got 3 sizes. This is the smallest one. So for this one, I'm going to do the head this way, like so. And I'm actually gonna double, I'll do it from the side. I'm gonna do it both ways, and then maybe hot glue it in the middle, just so it makes like a solid head. So we're just gonna stick this little stick right in there, like so. And then we're gonna follow with the other stick. Stick those right in there. So, got like this. We'll glue it together. And then this is gonna be a little head right there. Now this one, we're gonna do it differently. Because the body is a little bigger, I think this head looks really small. So I'm actually gonna do it like this because all I really need is somewhere to put the eyes. Hot glue didn't really work with the styrofoam, so I ended up using zip ties. I zip tied 2 zip ties together for this one. So for this big guy, we're gonna use the bicycle helmet. And I'm gonna use one of those extra cloths that came with those guys we just cut apart, just to add a little more white since this is bright blue.
Next up, you'll add the sheets on top. Now for the 2 smaller ones, I was able to use 1 sheet. For the bigger one, I did have to use 2. And so I put the bottom layer that draped on the back first and then added the top.
So now the fun begins. I'm going to add little hands for them with these little pieces we pulled out. All right, so we're gonna just pop this off right so I can show you. All right, now going to put this in the back and rest it here on this bar, and we're kind of crisscrossing it around this little back wire, and then resting the arms here. I don't think it matters that one has the metal and one doesn't, so it looks like this. Well, let's see how it looks. Awesome, so there's a little hand right there. So the question is, there we go. All right, now this guy's bigger, so we're gonna use 2 of these. And I'm gonna use right here, this first wire again, as kind of the base. I'm gonna put their hands this way. So Let me show you what I'm doing so you can see. Okay, so I'm hand about here, looks good to me. So I'm taking it and wrapping it around this back and then pulling it kind of over and around to secure it a few times. And then I'm going to do the same but opposite way with this guy. So it'll come in here, and then this is going to wrap around and over this little middle wire, and I can hook that right there. So you can see how you can kind of hook them to this and then rest the arms. And if you need a little more, you can just drop it down, back around, let it rest right there. I'm going to turn him around. Got our little hands. So I went ahead and I added string lights on these guys. So it'll look cool at night. And I'm going to put their little sheet back on.
So when you drape the sheets back on, you want to make sure it's form-fitting to the hands so they show, because that's kind of the coolest part.
Here's my big ghost. And that stacked cauldron is right there, and I want to make sure I get them in the right spot before I do anything. So I want this little guy to be pouring basically stuff down in here. So I'm gonna try to hot glue it right here, see if that stays. And I'm trying to get this hand underneath like so.
Next up, adding the ghost eyes. I just cut them out by hand with black felt sheets and attach them using hot glue. Just make sure that your sheets are in the right spot before you add the eyes, because once they're on, they're really hard to get off.
And so now, got this pour going, I am just going to start adding these attached to those so it looks like a straight pour, which is super fun. And I'm just kind of building these off of each other, like so. And I just want it to look like this is literally being like poured. Accessories. You got the witch, her cute little broom, and then this little one is going to hold a pumpkin.
And that was it. I did decide to add fairy lights just so they could be seen easier in the dark, just for, a little bit of fun sparkle. And then I wanted to add a few more accessories, so I grabbed a hair bow that I had bought at the Dollar Tree and used hot glue to attach it. And that's basically it. They turned out so cute. And I'm really, really happy with this project, and I've gotten so many compliments from neighbors. They're just the right amount of spooky chic, and I'm really happy with how the stacked cauldron turned out. It just looks really fun and pretty. And if you like this tutorial, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel, like this video, leave a comment. I have tons more tutorials coming up and I would love to have you here for the ride. So thanks so much for watching and happy Halloween!